How can AI be used to amplify trade? And what considerations do negotiators need to keep in place to ensure inclusive and equitable outcomes at MC14?
According to the 2025 World Trade Report, AI could increase global trade by nearly 40% by 2040. That's nearly a 13 trillion opportunity. But here's the challenge: without the right policies, this could deepen divides rather than close them. So let's look at first examples of how AI can really transform trade. One of the areas is customs and logistics. AI has been seen to revolutionize border operations. Custom authorities are using AI for risk assessment and can process shipments faster while improving security. DHL, in fact, has reduced forecast errors by 40% and boosted warehouse productivity by nearly 35% using AI. UPS cuts unplanned vehicle breakdowns by nearly 30% through predictive maintenance. These aren't future promises, but they are happening right now. Another area is supply chain optimization. AI agents, autonomous systems that monitor conditions and make real time decisions, are actually reshaping global supply chains. They're able to handle demand forecasting, procurement, and logistics planning, processing of millions of data points to help optimize routes, reduce costs, and mitigate risks. Maersk actually reduced shipping delays by nearly 67% and saved 340 million in fuel costs through AI-powered container tracking systems. AI-driven supply chains mapping actually brings focus to high-risk areas such as sustainability, security, and human rights also, and helps improve our coverage and efficiency and enables compliance and transparency to keep our operations stable in a rapidly changing world. One of the most interesting and exciting areas actually is democratizing access for SMEs. This is perhaps the most exciting development. AI agents like, for example, Alibaba's Ashio are helping small businesses in developing countries like Pakistan, Vietnam, Bangladesh get access to global markets. Nearly 50,000 SMEs used these tools during the 2024 holiday season alone. AI is turning information overload for SMEs into actually actionable intelligence, making global trade accessible to businesses that couldn't afford expert consultants before. Another example that I love to use is how would, for example, a small coffee bean farmer, without using middlemen or consultants, export his or her coffee beans to a far off country, say the United States, India, Brazil, Germany, navigating import export rules, regimes, various food categories and their norms, as well as the multitude of forms that they would need to fill. With the right database and an LLM on top with a language translator, this can actually be made accessible in their own language, saving thousands of dollars in consultancy. But as negotiators, what must understand is that while there are all these AI benefits, these benefits will not be automatic. The 2025 World Trade Report is very clear on this. It says these gains will depend on ensuring enabling policies. And so, what are these enabling policies that we all need to work towards? The first being bridging the digital divide. Right now, if you really look at it, AI adoption in the global north is growing almost twice as fast in the global south. The UAE leads with 64% adoption, while many developing countries lag far behind. Without the right infrastructure investment, reliable internet, electricity, digital skills, developing countries will be left behind, and that should not happen. The second major area is data governance. AI requires a lot of cross border data flows to function effectively. And as negotiators, we need frameworks that balance openness with legitimate safeguards around privacy, security, and algorithmic transparency. This isn't just a technical issue, it's a foundation to trust. The next area would be looking at capacity, and that's important. Commonwealth developing countries have highlighted this very clearly in a lot of research and study that they've done. They found that many countries lack the financial resources and technical expertise to deploy AI tools, and hence MC14 must prioritize capacity building programs, especially for least developed countries. Interoperability is another focus area. Open technology neutral frameworks can help allow global supply chains to actually speak a common language. And thus, bodies like the WTO, WCO, ICC, UN, and national regulators should work towards interoperable frameworks that reference shared global standards. This alignment reduces confusion and gives business clear guidance as well as predictability on how to meet requirements across jurisdictions. Cross border data flows with trust. This is going to be one of the most critical enablers of AI driven trade, and that is the ensuring free and trusted flow of data across borders. AI systems, as talked about in the data governance section, clearly rely on vast real time data assets to function effectively, from logistics and customs data to market signals and regulatory updates. But without frameworks that ensure that data can move securely and predictably between jurisdictions, the promise of AI in trade will be stifled. Negotiators at MC14 must prioritize agreements that promote cross-border data flows while embedding robust safeguards for privacy, cybersecurity, and algorithmic accountability. Trust is not a byproduct, it's a prerequisite. Building interoperable standards and fostering mutual recognition of data protection regimes will be essential to unlocking AI's full potential for inclusive global trade. One of the last points is the e-commerce moratorium. A permanent extension to the WTO e-commerce moratorium would promote growth for all economies by preserving duty-free digital trade that allows and lowers costs, increasing market access, especially for small and medium developing economies, and provides the legal certainty needed to invest, innovate, and integrate into global supply chains. We cannot ignore this aspect. The bottom line, AI will transform trade whether we plan for it or not. The question at MC14 is whether the transformation will lift all boats or it will create new digital colonialism. With the right enabling policies, open data flows, capacity building, infrastructure investment, and transparent governance, we can achieve that 40 by 40 vision. 40% more trade by 2040. But it requires action now. You have the data, you have the tools, and you have the opportunity. Let us all come together to make MC14 the moment when we choose inclusive growth over a digitally driven exclusion.